I found a feature in Cura that allows me to make time lapses like this for very low cost without using Octoprint or Octolapse. I'll show you how I did it on today's Filament Friday. Filament Friday is brought to you every week by the generous donations of these Patreon supporters. This video is also brought to you by PCBWay.com, a great place to get low-cost circuit boards and also low-cost assembly services, all from one place, PCBWay.com. Time lapses like this are nothing new. People have been using Octolapse with Octoprint for a long time, but I wanted a simple way to do it. And while I was in Cura, I saw under post-processing there's a script for time lapse. And that time lapse uses an M240 command, G-code command, and allows you to do a time lapse. So I wanted to see if I could use my iPad, which I film with, and also the stop motion software for processing the pictures that it'll take. In fact, I used this to make this 1000 celebration video many years ago on my channel. Now I prefer my iPad, but I could have used my phone. I needed a way to trigger the iPad to take the picture, and I found this wireless Bluetooth remote control on Amazon for under $6. So I started with something simple, just a CHEP cube in Cura, and I used the time-lapse feature with all its stock settings. And then I sliced it, and hopefully we get this. And all I did was manually take the picture with the remote control, just like I would do with a time-lapse. So it would present itself, and I'd take a picture. And at the end, it actually worked. I got tired of pressing a button, so I didn't print the whole thing, but it worked. But I did get a lot of stringing. So then I got lazy, so I taped the switch to the Y rail, I shimmed it up with some stickers so the bed would actually hit the button, and then I did it again to see if I could get this to print. And I actually had to adjust the Y position to 132 so the clip on the bed would actually go right over the switch. This actually worked. Well, for 3/4 of the way, because here's what I got, and then the tape broke. So I decided to not be lazy and actually design this clamp that will go right over the 440 rail of my Ender 3 V2. I did this in Tinkercad and then sliced it in Cura at a 0.28, so this is pretty rough. And it perfectly snapped over the rail, really tight, and I just slid it back. Now I do lose some bed movement, so I definitely don't have as much wire with this. The remote fit nicely and didn't press that second switch, and then I put a piece of cardboard in the slot to hold it in place. And then I pulled off the clip on the bed, and on the bottom, which is smooth, I put a sticky back felt pad. This is like what you'd put underneath I don't know, something so it doesn't scratch the table. And then I put the clip back on, lined it up with the belt, and it perfectly pressed the switch. This couldn't have been any better. It was so smooth. I also wanted to get rid of that stringing, and I found this custom time-lapse Cura plugin by Simon Germain. So you just download this, and you install it in Cura. On my Mac, I right-clicked on the Cura 4.8, Show Package Contents, click on Contents, click on Resources, click on Plugins, Plugins again, and then find the Post-Processing plugin. And then there's a Scripts folder, and this is where you put it. Here's the time-lapse that exists, and here's the custom time-lapse that I added. Now once you do this, you got to restart Cura, and it should show up in the scripts. So I opened the scripts, and there's custom time-lapse. And this has some really nice features, including retraction. But the first thing I need to do is set the proper Y position so it goes over the switch. So I set that to Y132. Now the X, I really don't care, so I'm just going to eliminate this. So wherever the X is, the X is. I'm not going to worry about it for right now. I'm going to make the switch time 250 milliseconds, so it clicks and doesn't hold. And then retraction, I'm going to set it to 6 millimeters. So this should give me a good retraction. You also can send a camera command somehow. I haven't gotten into that yet, but that's kind of cool. So I sliced that, and here it is printing. And this actually worked beautifully. It moves forward slowly, presses a switch, and my stop motion takes a picture. And it was really easy to process the stop motion. Here's the result. It worked beautifully. Now using this Y-axis method, you do lose some bed space. So I wanted to try an X-axis, so I designed this little bracket, and here it is printing. Now this is with the Y-axis, the little felt button. Still, it's working really well. But after a little bit of testing, I found my design just wasn't adequate. It got loose and broke away. But I also realized in my first test, this thing kept going back and pressing the home switch perfectly. So the next step is to figure out how to wire that switch to the circuit board of the Bluetooth fob. And speaking of circuit boards, PCBWay.com is a great place to get low-cost circuit boards, but you can also get assembly services. You can supply them the parts or give them a bill of material with the parts list. They will track down the parts, solder things together, review it with you during the process, and at the end ship you completely assembled boards. So if you're looking for a manufacturing partner for your electronics designs, check out PCBWay.com. It shouldn't be difficult to wire this up to the home switch, but I'm going to save that for another video. In the meantime, I'm going to keep using this Y-axis setup because it's working really well. If you like what I'm doing here, maybe check out some of the videos that are popping up, and if nothing else, click on that CHEP logo and subscribe. I'll see you next time right here at Filament Friday.